Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zane here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 17 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As you can tell, we have switched things up to a brand new team, and I'm pretty excited to use this team because it's actually featuring a lot of Pokemon I haven't been able to try out yet in VGC 17 that I think have a lot of potential, slash have already demonstrated that they're really good in the format, so I'm pretty excited to be trying this team out. Once again, if you haven't seen the last week of Road to Ranked or so, I was using Gavin Michaels' winning team from San Jose Regionals. We actually did a special episode yesterday, and I featured him on the channel. We played 2 games, and I had him basically on Skype, and it was super fun. Definitely one of my favorite episodes of Road to Ranked, really ever that I've done. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that, and if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. We're just going to look for our first game of today's episode. Of course, you can see my team. It's a little bit different. Got a lot of new Pokemon that I haven't used yet, but it's got the Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Marowak, Arcanine, Tapu Fini, Porygon 2, and Muk. So I wanted to use this team because one thing that I want to highlight on Road to Ranked is really just all kinds of different teams. So the first team was kind of a Trick Room oriented team that also had a fast Sun mode, and it was very based on Torkoal. Second team was of course the San Jose team, which was just pure hyper offense. Third team was Gavin's team, which was a very dedicated team to Trick Room. This one is kind of like a hybrid where you can set up Trick Room, but it's also not necessarily like you don't necessarily need it. So kind of funny talking about some of the older teams I've used, because my opponent's team here has 4 of the 6 same Pokemon, or 4 of the 6 Pokemon that we've used previously. But yeah, we're going to get into the first game of today's episode. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I would really appreciate it. So my opponent's running a team of Lilligant, Torkoal, Oranguru, so that core is there, with the Tapu Lele, Garchomp, and the Celesteela. So okay. How do I want to play this? So the nice thing is with Tapu Fini, he will not be able to put me to sleep. That's a big deal. I could set up Trick Room here. You know, Trick Room is really good against Celesteela, Garchomp, Lele. I think I'm gonna want Marowak here as well. Fini's kind of solid overall. I'm not sure if my opponent's even gonna... No, my opponent should probably still bring Torkoal. I'm gonna lead Porygon 2 and Fini, just so if my opponent does lead Lilligant Torkoal, terrain will be up, and that's big. Definitely want Marowak in the back. The last one... Arcanine is not a bad call here. Ninetales is like kind of tempting because of the Garchomp, but other than that, not the best. I think I might go with Arcanine solely for Intimidate, and because Flamethrower hits Celesteela pretty nicely. Although Muk would give me a switch into Lele, but I'm gonna lock in. So I've played only a couple of games with this team so far, so I'm a little bit unfamiliar with it, and that'll probably show in the first couple of days as we use this team, but I don't mind that too much. One of the reasons why I like doing Road to Ranked is because I think it is a learning process. Of course, I do play games occasionally off screen because I do want to at least pick up some sense of how to use a team or, you know, certain Pokemon. But yeah, you know, really haven't played too much with this, so we'll see how it goes. Gonna go with Porygon 2 and the Tapu Fini. I'm using a Calm Mind Tapu Fini set. We actually see the Lilligant Torkoal lead here, which I'm pretty content with because Torkoal's gonna be slower than everything. I suppose one thing I didn't consider is that Lilligant could be the Z-move variant, but download should give me, yeah, it should give me a special attack increase here, which is actually very nice. And Drought will go up, but that's fine. Anticipating the Z-move here, or a grass type attack. I'm just going to try attack into Torkoal and switch into Arcanine. Let's see. Let's say he after you eruptions. Then I'm still in a fine position because I can recover next turn. Yeah. I could Trick Room here. I don't want to though. So now that I have my terrain up, I can switch in Arcanine. Arcanine is a pretty good matchup against Lilligant. It can also Snarl Torkoal. So we'll see whether we see an after you eruption here or a grass type attack into the Fini slot. And Intimidate's not going to matter here. And Lilligant's item is always the tricky part. Okay, so he does go for the grass type attack. He actually misses, which is unfortunate for me because -2 special attack would be really good. Try attack there does like 60% though, which is incredible. And he goes for an eruption. That's not going to do very much to either of my Pokemon. Yeah, very nice. So that was a very ideal turn 1 for me there. Let's see. With that, I still do want to get up Trick Room. And I think I'm actually going to set it up here. That might be a little bit weird, but he kind of loses to Trick Room because all his Pokemon are pretty slow outside of Torkoal, and Torkoal's in KO range almost. So I will just Trick Room here. I should survive 2 Heat Waves anyway. And I will just go for a Flamethrower onto Lilligant. So that was a perfect turn 1 there, other than Leaf Storm missing, just because if he misses, then he does even less damage. I suppose he could Leaf Storm, Heat Wave, Porygon here. Maybe I should have Snarled instead, actually. Okay, Torkoal switches out. That's fine by me, by all means, into Lele. That's perfect. Because now I can actually just start Snarling. He shouldn't... Oh, he's gonna go Sleep Powder, yeah. But Porygon 2 avoids. So I get a little bit lucky there. I forgot the potential that my opponent could go for the Sleep Powder. That's one reason why I hated using Lilligant, though. Like, 75% accuracy is pretty darn shaky. Even if he hit that, I think I would have been in an okay position, but now I'm even in an even better position. Like, it would be really frustrating if I lost this one, honestly, because the first 2 turns played out perfectly. I'm just actually going to try attack and Snarl right now. Could miss Snarl, but I'm not really too concerned about what Lilligant can do. And Snarl covers a potential switch in 2, and decreasing Lele's special attack is a big deal. You know, Lele hits really hard, especially with Psychic Terrain, but if you can decrease it by 1 stage, it honestly goes like a long way, and you definitely feel it. So if Sleep Powder hit there, then we would have been in an interesting position in the next turn, because Lele potentially could have the Z move. So I would have maybe contemplated switching Porygon 2 out. Of course, one of the difficult things is I did not bring Muck in this matchup, so I could have risked staying in with Porygon, maybe going for the turn 1 Wake Up. Lilligant can't do that much damage. It can't really do anything, which is why, like, had he missed the Leaf Storm on the first turn, then there's no way he'd be able to, you know, knock me out even with the Psychium Z. So I'm going to try attack here. That does almost 50%. Snarl here is going to connect with both Pokemon. That's going to knock out Lilligant. Going to decrease Lele's stage, or special attack stage, by 1 stat. That means whatever it's going for here, maybe a Psychic Z move. Yep, it is going to be the Psychic Z move. So that is reduced. It's still going to hit really hard. We'll see who he targets here. Torkoal obviously is still in the back, and that's going to outspeed everything under Trick Room, but I'm not too worried about that because he can't Eruption anymore. So he has to rely on Heat Wave, and that doesn't do too much. So we're going to see Shattered Psyche. It is going to target the Porygon 2 slot, which is, you know, good target. But we will survive this really easily with the decreased special attack stage, which is perfect. So I suppose Torkoal should be coming back in for my opponent, as it does. And that's fine with me. We will probably just see a Heat Wave come out. And so I'm going to switch back out into my Tapu Fini, and I'm going to go for a Flamethrower onto the Lele. Might not knock it out. One of the nice things, though, is that my opponent does have the Sun, so I can actually use that to my advantage, because that increases Flamethrower's damage output. My Arcanine's super bulky, though. So Fini will come in, Misty Surge will come back out, which means Psychic does even less damage now if Lele goes for it. He's just going to Heat Wave, and against an Arcanine and a Fini, like, still does more damage than I would have liked. Maybe it's Spexed. That damage output makes me want to think it's Spexed. And Flamethrower actually just knocks out Lele, which is perfect. And I've got lefties on Fini, so I'll just keep on healing back. His Sun is running out too, and he can't reset the Sun anymore. I think it runs out next turn, or maybe the turn after. But pretty commanding position right now. And no, there definitely was an unfortunate Sleep Powder miss, and that actually wasn't something I considered, but it was a really smart play, like winning the terrain war there by my opponent. So kind of wish I had considered that play. Didn't think it'd be too bad either way. Garchomp's gonna come back, or come in for my opponent. That is perfectly fine by me. Let's see. There are this last turn of Sun. 2 more turns of Trick Room. I'm just gonna Moonblast into Garchomp and Snarl. Can't Will-O-Wisp, obviously. If he protects Garchomp, fine by me. I should have enough firepower to close out this one. I don't think he has too much to deal with Fini. He could have Poison Jab, but Moonblast should do a considerable amount. And if I get in Porygon after Snarling Torkoal, then I'll also be able to just recover. He's not going to protect with either, just going for the Heat Wave, fine by me. Yeah, so that's actually perfect because I do have the Berry here with Arcanine, which is going to heal back a hefty nice 50% with the Yawgmoth Berry. Gonna get the Snarl off there, so that's gonna decrease Torkoal's special attack stage. Also breaks the potential Focus Sash on Garchomp, although that is really not like the common item we see on Chomps nowadays. And I will be able to get this Moonblast off. Not gonna knock him out most likely. Wow, is that a crit? No, not even. Huh, kind of surprised about that. I know Fini's damage output isn't the best, but Sunlight fades here, so 4-0 there, but I think if Garchomp survived and got an attack off, this could have played out pretty differently, although I felt like I had enough firepower in the late game to really win with this one. So, yep, now it's pretty simple. Just gonna Moonblast. Flamethrower, don't want to risk missing. I mean, it's a 4-on-1. Torkoal can't solo this. Wonder if it's Specs though. That damage output really looked like it was Specs, and I'm super bulky with both of my Pokemon, so I'm kind of curious about that. But we do pick up a win for our first game with this team, which is pretty nice. Not expecting a huge win streak as I, get acclimated with the team, but pretty highly rated opponent there, and I felt relatively good about my gameplay. Like turn 1 worked out perfect. I'm really surprised we saw the Logan Torkoal lead, honestly, but perhaps my opponent was like, oh, I'll still go with it, And that's kind of the mindset I had when I played with Logan Torkoal. I was like, even if it brings in Pokemon that resist my attacks, I can just go for Sleep Powders. But that's why Tapu Fini is also really nice, because, it gives you a whole nother dimension to stopping the, so we find an 1860 rated opponent, wow. It gives you a whole nother dimension into stopping the terrain. So, next opponent of the day, rocking 4 of the 6 same Pokemon. There's a reason, the Ninetales is surprising, because I haven't seen too many people use that so far, but Muck, Arcanine, Fini, those are all absurdly popular right now. So, it's the Muck, the Arcanine, the Alola Ninetales, the Tapu Lele, the Tapu Fini, and the, Kartana. Okay. So, let's see. This is tricky. I want to bring Porygon too. I want to set up Trick Room, because if I set up Trick Room, Marowak looks like it's in a pretty prime position. I'm not sure if that's necessarily very easy to do. You could have a potential Taunt user, and that's also frustrating at times. I want to bring Porygon, because it gives me a leg up, honestly. And Marowak is pretty difficult to use with. Marowak sweeps through everything bar Fini if I get Trick Room up. I could also go Ninetales, Muck, Fini. I feel like, given that this is a pretty close mirror match though, maybe I should just go the Trick Room out. So I'm going to go Porygon, and I'm actually going to lead... Ooh, I'm running out of time here. This is tricky. This is very tricky. Ninetales, Marowak, Muck. Okay, so leading Ninetales is kind of weird here, right? Because my team's super slow for the most part, but one reason why I wanted to run Ninetales on this team is because it gets access to Aura Veil, and that's a really cool move because it's like a Light Screen and a Reflect all in one. So given Ninetales is a pretty speedy Pokemon, most of the times I should be able to get that Aura Veil off. And so it's like, I'll easily, take the sacrifice on Ninetales. If they double up into it, that's actually even better because then I get a free switch in. So we see Muck and Fini come out from my opponent. The only question now is whether he has Taunt. If he doesn't, I'm okay with this. If he does, that could be frustrating. And yeah, I easily could have led Muck and Fini as well, but I wasn't sure that was a mirror match I wanted to play against. Yeah, attack increase, unfortunately. Do I even want a Trick Room here? I think so. I mean, I definitely want to... the thing is, yeah, I maybe just want a Blizzard here. Maybe I'm not going to Trick Room here. Maybe I just want to go for damage. I'm just going to try attacking Blizzard. We'll see if he doubles up into Ninetales. The nice thing about Blizzard is you also get the freeze chance. 10% each, which is pretty solid. Does an okay amount there. He's just going for Muddy Water, which means we could see a knockoff come out from Muck. Don't think that's Specs damage, but I'm not sure. The difficult thing is now setting up Trick Room is actually a lot harder. We're probably just gonna see another Muddy Water. Porygon might survive that though. Oh, but Ninetales won't. Maybe I should just set up Trick Room. That was a lot of damage that I was not really anticipating. He's just gonna Muddy Water again and probably knock off onto Porygon. Miss would be huge. I'm gonna Trick Room and Protect. I don't really know how I feel about that. I think I should have just gone for Trick Room turn 1. But even so, yeah, he's just gonna use Muddy Water again. If he misses, that could be huge. Wow, he actually does miss. He does jab into Porygon though. That actually probably just knocks me out anyway. No, it doesn't. So I get Trick Room up. Okay. RNG's definitely been on my side this game or this episode. Okay, that makes this interesting. Because I don't know if that Feeny is specs damage. He doesn't have leftovers. We haven't seen a recovery item. He's Muddy Watered both times. I'm gonna bring in my Muck. One of the reasons why I want to use Feeny too is because I'm very unfamiliar with it as a Pokemon right now. So I'm just going to... Does he have any good switch-ins to Poison Jab? Could switch into Kartana, but I will still go for it. If he brings in Kartana, that's fine. I'm going to go for the Hail Mary Aura Veil. He'll most likely knock Ninetales out here with this Muck, but I don't want to switch it into a knockoff if I bring in Marowak, so I kind of am forced to stay in with it. Lucky avoid there, though. I was thinking, like, if I don't set up Trick Room, then Ninetales will at least outspeed both, and then maybe I can Aura Veil and bring in my Muck. But the tricky thing here is then I wouldn't have Marowak under Trick Room. Now I do have Marowak under Trick Room, but I'm not sure if I can even utilize that well. The mirror match, or not the mirror match, I mean, this isn't a mirror, but we did have a lot of summoner Pokemon. I really wasn't sure how to approach it, especially without knowing my opponent's items. Okay, Feeny switches out into Kartana. Okay, so that makes me think he's got to be Spexed. So I could have knocked off there. I am faster with my Muck. He's just going to Poison Jab. Instead of going for the knockoff, so that's going to knock out my Ninetales, unfortunately. So now you have 3 turns of Trick Room to fully take advantage of. But if that is Specs Feeny, that will make a difference. And the thing is, with hail damage here, even if he Sash Kartana, like, I could just Flare Blitz until that slot for a knockout. However, it's likely he'll want to Protect. And Muck is definitely a huge threat, because the knockoff just knocks my Marowak out. So I wish I knocked off into the Kartana, so I'm not sure if that actually would have made a difference, but I think here I'm just going to Boomerang into Muck and knock off Kartana. Yeah. Pretty obvious plays, but I'm in the time where it's like, okay, I've set up Trick Room, I have 3 turns to take advantage of, let's go use it. Muck does have its Berry too, which is good, because that means that Pokemon's probably sticking around for a while at least. But I don't know the item on Kartana. He can also just double Protect if he has that to stall out turn a Trick Room. And his Muck could have Figi Berry, which it most likely does. That means he'll be able to heal back as well. I don't know. I didn't have a game plan really coming into this one, and even still thinking about it is kind of tough. I think, okay, Muck protects. That's fine. Does Kartana protect as well? Okay. So he's probably sashed then. There wasn't anything I could have done from this turn, unfortunately. Boomerang goes into it. Knockoff goes into the protect. Yep. Let's see if we bring him to his berry, because that actually would be bad. Maybe I should have knocked off Muck, actually, instead of poison jabbing. Yeah, looks like that's actually going to proc his berry. That's not good. That is not good in the slightest. That's super bad, actually. What does more now? Knock off. Jab. Hail working against me here. I'm gonna double up into Muck because I need Muck on. He just knocks out Marowak. That might not even knock out though, honestly. Muck's a really bulky Pokemon. I wish I got rid of its berry. I think I should have just made the prediction and knocked off. Like, there was no way he was gonna let me poison jab. And I only have 2 turns to trick him as well, so yeah, I did not come in with this with a very solid game plan, and you can kind of see the result. Kartana switches out, that's fine. Yeah, that's the nail in the coffin. That's gonna seal things up. Unless I crit Boomerang, but yeah, this will definitely be the end of me. So get it off, but yeah, with that Intimidate, he will be able to survive easily. Not so easy, I guess, but Poison Jab definitely won't knock him out here unless I crit, I think. Even with the crit, I'm not sure if I can even knock him out. So close, but he's gonna get the knockoff off. Yeah. So hail stops. And the mist disappears. But I don't think I have enough of resources to win this one. He just double protects here, most likely, to stall out my last turn of Trick Room. It is a little bit frustrating because if I did pick up that knockout onto Muck, I actually think I had a solid chance of winning this one. Because then he doesn't get the knockoff. Marowak's still at full health. Oh, he has Shadow Sneak. Yeah, that just confirms things. So kind of funny. Like the first game was like kind of a 4-0. This will probably be like a very. It looks pretty one-sided, and it was for the most part. Like I got pretty lucky too to even set up Trick Room. Like leading Ninetales didn't work out as well as I would have liked to. Because I was like, oh, I want to Aura Veil, and then I just wanted to go for damage output, and then I was just like torn between the two, and then like didn't make a good turn one play. Like I don't know what I was really thinking, and I just kind of went into it. If I could redo things, probably Aura Veil turn 1, Trick Room, and then either switch Ninetales out or sack it the second turn. To be honest, I think if I had to redo this game, I would just re-lead how I led things. I'd probably lead Muck Porygon too. Because my Muck covers a Feeny. And Feeny can't do too much to Muck. I do have Shadow Sneaks. Let's see if we can pick up one knockout here onto my opponent's Muck. What else? What else could I have done differently? Yeah, it's just like, without knowing your opponent's set... Does Muck hang on? Okay, no, he picked up the knockout there. But yeah, without knowing my opponent's items, that was tricky itself. His Arcanine obviously seems to be more offensive. Mine is just like a Flamethrower Snarl variant, as you guys saw earlier. So pretty great win by my opponent there. Really well played in general. There's a reason why he was like 1880 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, turn 1 I just didn't make a good play. I wasn't expecting so much damage onto Porygon, and the knockoff was obvious, so I should have expected that, because once I lose my Eviolite, then, you know, I'm just taking significantly more damage. So I think I just completely misled in this game, and then turn 1 I just didn't make a good play either. Should have probably gone for the Aura Veil. Other than that, I'm trying to think how I could have maybe led better. And I definitely got caught off guard, like, seeing a team that had so many similar Pokemon. But that's to be expected. I mean, these are all pretty common Pokemon in the metagame right now. I definitely don't think leading my Feeny would have been that great. I think, if anything, yeah, leading Muck would have been solid. I don't think leading Arcanine would have been that great. Marowak wouldn't have been great either. So, if I had to redo it, maybe Porygon 2 plus Muck. Or maybe I just don't bring the Porygon mode. But the thing is, his Muck was faster. Like, my team is a little bit more on the slower spectrum. So, it looks like he was on the faster spectrum. Given that he had Kartana as well, would have been tricky. Ninetales obviously wasn't that great. Wasn't even able to get the Aura Veil up either, so maybe that wasn't a right call, but it gave me like a faster, like, I guess, mode to his team. So I guess I should have committed more to either like full Trick Room or just like don't bring Trick Room at all. Now in the couple of games I played with this team, there have been different ways to play around things, but yeah, that was definitely a loss that I think I can digest a lot from and learn a lot from. And I might edit this team as I go along with, because there are definitely some flaws here and there. And yeah, like Feeny Muck is ironic because I'm running it, but it's not a fun combination to go up against. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I think maybe think things through a little bit, but definitely a really nice episode to kick things off. I think like definitely learned a lot, and we ran into some pretty cool stuff, and didn't get to do the team really justice in that second game, but yeah, we'll see if we can bounce back in the next one. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, please do leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.